Well, the radical left is light years away from reality, and TV star Patricia Heaton, perhaps best known for the role of Deborah on Everybody Loves Raymond, she isn't afraid to say it. Heaton blasted woke Disney over the decision to not cast Tim Allen for the role of Buzz Lightyear in their upcoming movie on the iconic character's origin story. The character is only iconic, of course, because of Tim Allen's past award-winning performances. So Heaton took to Twitter adding that Disney and Pixar made a huge mistake not casting Allen in the role that he originated, going as far to ask, quote, why would they completely castrate this iconic, beloved character? While Disney may claim the challenge is because Tim Allen's version was goofy and they need someone to sound serious in this new movie, but that sounds like a lot of BS to me. Their decision was purely political, folks. It's all because Allen is a Republican and he was actually brave enough to openly support Donald Trump. And what a coincidence that, of course, Disney chose Trump-hating Chris Evans to take the role of Lightyear instead. Now, this actor spent years trashing the president online, calling him a racist and a giant meatball, even saying that he couldn't be friends with a Trump supporter. Some Captain America he is. Joining me now is the host of Daily Caller Live, Jobob, and Turning Point USA Ambassador Morgonn McMichael. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Morgonn, let's start with you. You know, for so many growing up, myself included, Tim Allen voicing Buzz Lightyear, it was a really big deal. You hear the line to infinity and beyond, and you hear Tim Allen's voice. Yet there's a whole generation out there that'll be robbed of that because he has the wrong politics. How do you think we got to this point?
I think it's just woke Disney at it again. I mean, we saw all of the LGBTQ pushing, and now 100% Tim Allen was not casted due to his political beliefs. And I think it's complete bogus. We also saw his sitcom be canceled. And now that Chris Evans has been casted, it just saddens me because Captain America, we love Marvel too, but they're just as woke with Disney being the corporation. So, I grew up on Toy Story. I grew up with Buzz Lightyear toys and Andy toys, and it just breaks my heart knowing that this future generation won't get to experience that, all due to the woke left.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate. And Jobob, you've actually started to become our Buzz Lightyear expert. But, you know, predictably, Heaton, she received a lot of blowback for her tweet. And she's not backing down, which is kind of surprising for a lot of folks. But she posted today, quote, waking up in London to find my tweet about Buzz Lightyear generated more of a kerfuffle than my tweet about the box of aborted full-term babies found in D.C. Let us all ponder the state of our humanity. And just this week, by the way, author James Patterson, he received so much criticism after saying that white writers face racism. He apologized. I mean, how important is it, especially now, for people to stand by their opinions and not bow to that woke mob out there?
Well, I think overall, as sort of a strategy in overcoming the woke mob, is you start to see little by little by little, and it slowly snowballs into a big avalanche. So the more people that don't bow to the woke mob, I think the more we're going to see people doing exactly that, not bowing to the woke mob. And one of the reasons why I feel like she's not bending the knee is because people are seeing through the reasoning. Disney's reasoning for this was, well, we wanted a more serious character, like you mentioned. It is a Disney cartoon. In what way, shape, or form is it meant to be a serious, deeper look at a darker Buzz Lightyear? And also, who's to say that Tim Allen couldn't do it? So the reasoning behind them not casting this iconic voice actor is just totally bogus. So with that said, I can understand why people aren't backing down, because I think a lot of America, regardless of their political affiliation, sees through the BS.
Yeah, and you know what? There are actually a lot of Hollywood celebrities that couldn't wait to give us their opinions, of course, on Donald Trump. But, you know, a lot of them, along with the legacy media, they've been pretty silent about how bad Biden has been, right? You don't hear a whole lot about it. But I think that trend may break as soon as the left seems to be turning on Biden. Check out this piece in The Atlantic today. They wrote, quote, let me put this bluntly. Joe Biden should not run for re-election in 2024. He's too old. I mean, listen, Republicans have been saying that for years now, right? What do you think took them so long to figure it out? Morgonn?
It took him way too long. I mean, Donald Trump, he took a cognitive test in 2018, and he scored a 30 out of 30 on that test. So what's the holdup with President Biden? And I honestly think that the Democratic Party is scared of those results because we've seen him read on teleprompters. We've seen him stumble on his words, and even in person on getting on Air Force One. So I think the Democratic Party is honestly scared of those results, and so they're going to hold out. But he absolutely should not run for president in 2024. His age is a concern. His cognitive ability is a concern. concern. And him as a leader, it's obvious to us that he is not a strong political leader as president, and he really is just a puppet at this point.
Jobob, I want to get your reaction to that, too, because, you know, I think we all remember The Atlantic and all the hit pieces they did on former President Trump. And here they are now coming out and saying, hey, Joe, don't run in 2024. What do you make of that?
Well, we all know The Atlantic to be a far-right extremist publication. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's a super, super liberal publication. And this is not the only instant. David Axelrod, who ran Obama's campaign, also in the New York Times over the weekend said, yeah, Joe Biden is too old. The authors of the This Will Not Pass book that I also believe write for the New York Times are also saying that Democrats are holding back until after the midterms to say that, yes, Joe Biden is too old. And the reason that they're saying that, get this, is because Joe Biden is too old. Just to put this into context, Ronald Reagan, when he was running for his second term, took the most heat of any president for his age. He was 73 years old, 6 years younger going into his second term than Joe Biden is today. So the reason that Democrats now are saying Joe Biden is too old is, in fact, because Joe Biden is too old.
It's amazing. You remember when they all freaked out about Trump and walking down the ramp or taking a sip of water? And I mean, and they're overlooking gaffe after situation, Joe being ushered around by the Easter Bunny like it's nothing. I mean, it's just unbelievable to me. But Morgan, you know, it seems like Biden has also lost CNN by now. Don Lemon is actually defending his questioning of Karine Jean-Pierre about Biden's mental fitness. She says it's his job. Meanwhile, according to reports, Brian Stelter and Jim Acosta, they could be on the chopping block for being too liberal. What do you think of that?
I mean, again, it's the Democratic Party. This is the one time I think I might actually agree with a CNN reporter, because it's true. The American people deserve to know what the cognitive state of Joe Biden is. And right now, we do not know that, other than what we see on the news, and which we all know is fabricated by the Biden administration on what he says and does with the teleprompters. And so I think some leftists are starting to wake up and see that Biden is not going to be the perfect running mate in 2024. And everyone that's standing in the way of that, it's coming to light. So it just proves that CNN and other liberal media companies are starting to actually unfold and realize that they need to be transparent with the American people.
Jobob, I've got about 30 seconds. I'm going to give you the last word on this, but I'm curious, who do you think, if Joe Biden's not their guy in 2024, who does the media get behind?
They don't have anybody right now. The next up in line is Vice President Kamala Harris. And if you recall, Vice President Kamala Harris ran for president and had to drop out of the Democratic primary before the Iowa caucus. So she's not a viable candidate. I think Gavin Newsom's taking a stab at it, but he's got a pretty rough pass to get through. Bottom line is, I don't think they have anyone, and I think we're going into a really, really open presidential primary, including on the Republican side. If Donald Trump decides to run or does not decide to run, it's going to be a wild election season in 2024.
Yeah, buckle up, folks. Well, Jobob and Morgan McMichael, great to see you both. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me.